Without exception, only RNs and LPNs are allowed to administer medication. So if you're a CNA or an aide, you can give a reminder to a patient that they may need to take medication if that's the situation, but you're just not allowed to administer medication, so keep that in mind. All of our employees are responsible for notifying the office of any changes that we may have in our file for information regarding name, address, phone, any contact type of information. It's also your responsibility to fax your yearly certifications and accreditations to the office before they expire so that we can keep that information up to date. And if you've got any questions, you can give us a call at 502-637-5474 and contact any member of the team to clarify anything that you're unclear about. And that's an overview of the standards of conduct. Moving on to standard policies and procedures on page 13. We have ID badges. It's critical that you wear those at all time so that those are clearly visible. If you have trouble with your badge, again, give us a call and we'll get that taken care of. On page 13, there's some information about dress code. And it's really important that the uniforms or clothing are clean, they fit properly, they're professional, no clothing that's at all see-through, anything of that nature. Hair needs to be clean, pulled back and away from our face at all times. Our shoes need to be clean. And some things that are not permitted are sandals, or clogs, flip-flops, open-toed or heeled shoes. Those are things that aren't, that are not part of our dress code. Socks or hose must be worn at all times. The midriff and back need to be covered at all times. No low-cut revealing tops. Slacks and skirts need to be appropriate length. Nails need to be cleaned and groomed. Jewelry can be small and appropriate, but no large distracting type jewelry. Also, there are no t-shirts, jeans, stretch pants, shorts, sweats, anything of that nature. No visible body piercings should be visible. And if you have any other questions about the dress code, definitely check with a team member, and they'll be glad to help you with that. On page 14 begins our alcohol and substance abuse policy. And as I'd mentioned, there's no excuse for being under the influence of alcohol or drugs on assignment. And if it's reported that someone has a suspicion that you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs, then we may have you immediately take a drug test. So be aware of that. And again, be sure to read that policy in its entirety. And the drug testing piece is we really want to have a workplace that's a safe place to work, and so the drug testing and the drug and alcohol policy are designed to protect us as well as to protect you and the patients that we are committed to serving. On page 17, there's information about our harassment policy. And again, for us, we're committed to keep creating a workplace where people are respected and valued, and so at any time, if you feel like you're being harassed for any reason, there's a process. You can give the member of the team a call, and we'll work on rectifying that situation, because we want you to be able to come to work and enjoy what you do, without having a fear of any kind of retaliation for you reporting an incident that you've witnessed or may have experienced. On page 18, there's some information about prevention of violence in the workplace. And again, we want a workplace that people can come to and not feel that they are in any way in danger or feeling threatened in any way. And similarly, we're committed to having practices where our patients are not experiencing any kind of violent behavior, neglect, or abuse. And there's other detail in there that I'm going to go through in a minute. So again, you want to communicate clearly if you ever witness or see a situation like that happening, and there's a process for that. Also, As I mentioned earlier, it's possible that someone may want to give you a gift or a tip or something like that, or give you money, and it's just important to be respectful and let them know that that's something you just have to check and get approval with at the office, and then give us a call and we can work through that on you, with you. On page 19, there's information about just a sample of some disciplinary actions that are grounds for immediate termination, things like stealing, frequent absenteeism, any kind of unprofessional actions, failure to comply with HIPAA and some of the other regulations that we have to adhere to, being intoxicated, verbal abuse, threats of violence, those things. And that list is not all inclusive. It just gives some examples of the types of things that we would consider particularly egregious that would be grounds for immediate termination. There's also information about abuse and neglect. Just to kind of speak a little bit to when we say abuse, what we really mean is that generally carries with it a sense of harm through physical, verbal, sexual, psychological, and emotional injury. And it's generally repetitive and escalating. So those are things we want to make sure that you're not subjected to, nor are our patients subjected to that. Neglect relates to the failure to care for or do for, to regard or pay attention to. It can be passive, could be an unintentional failure to provide care or give attention, or it could be active neglect, in intentional failure to fulfill a caretaking obligation or to inflict physical or emotional stress or injury. And again, that goes completely against our values, our mission, and our vision statement that we're really committed to providing highly professional care and creating a workplace where everybody can feel respected.